Good afternoon, everyone. Cost of groceries now all-time high. Search engines. We could eat liquid trees, algae from the streets. 7 different metrics. U.S. recession / depression ahead. Different planets, different languages to describe different geographic features. Supply chains look like they're still functional in the air. And if the Panama Canal's broken down, we should leave it to ingenuity and those who really want to move goods for us, because there's always money for those willing to work. And that's capitalism for you. Starting you right off here, more than 1 million people in chat at risk of food insecurity. World Food Program warns. Now, Chad hosts more than 1 million refugees, people pouring in from outside, like from the Sudan or from Niger. Coming up there, they're asking for another $185 million over the next 6 months. Get some food up there. And if we look at the World Economic Forum here, the way they group out risks by assessment, the cost of rising food costs, anywhere you see a dark black dot, that will be an effect of that. Agriculture, food, beverage prices up, financial woes, banking, capital markets shattering, humanitarian action going to be put in high gear, trade and investment sliding to minimal levels. If you don't have anything to trade, you're not trading. And supply chains, our favorite chains, outside corporate bondage, the buck stops here. China loans to low and middle income countries. Have you noticed there's a rollover across the planet? US dollar now usurped by Chinese yuan. And with this food crisis unfolding, who will be the one that will help the most, that then wins the mineral rights, the water rights, and the allegiance of the people to say thank you for saving us? You think it'll be China, or do you think it'll be Russia? So far, the heavy boot of the U.S. has destroyed quite a bit of infrastructure, installed quite a few dictators. This is truly the rollover period, not just with money, but with the movement of Russia and China into fill the vacuum, or actually displace something to create a new vacuum that seems to bolster the population and create wealth and prosperity, at least some hope, versus having another gray metal object raining out of the sky onto those that disapprove of how America operates. And the cost of groceries, you never would have guessed this, now at an all-time high. Searches, U.S. and worldwide. How expensive is then food going to get? Well, in Chad, they don't even have computers to even ask that question. They're living it by the day. But here in the West, we are so lucky. Liquid trees, tanks full of water and microalgae. Hey, you know what? Maybe we could strain the algae. We could eat that. Corellia or spirulina, both okay. An alternative food source on the streets in front of you. How pretty. Now, speaking of cells, a cell's a cell. Got an algae cell. How about lab-grown brain cells? Organoid intelligence may soon power our computers. No joke. Sim John Hopkins University identifying a new form of intelligence. A future where computers are powered by lab-grown brain cells is closer than we ever imagined. And with AI powering it all, Terminator's just around the corner. Probably by next Thanksgiving, who knows? Our national debt is a real world problem. Our government spends more in interest payments than it does funding the Pentagon. In 2010, our debt, $13 trillion, gold $1,000 an ounce. 2020, the debt was $23 trillion and gold was $1,500 an ounce. 2023, $33 trillion U.S. debt, and now $2,000 an ounce for gold. Call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention the Adapt 2030 channel. You're going to get some great in-class service. Also, Patriot Gold Group has a no fee for life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver. No fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Give them a call, 888-546-7020. And now on with the video. But what looks like it's still quite functional are the air supply chains. Doesn't look like air travel or air traffic or air cargo is being affected. Does this look normal to you? Look at all the supply chains in the sky. Respirators, anyone? Send another DHS plane full. And moving on to the layoffs that have been announced. This is a layoff tsunami coming at you here. U.S. bank stocks fell to record lows against the S&P 500. All-time low creeping into the end of 2023. And lo and behold, finance layoffs. Citigroup, 7,000 employees. Goldman Sachs, Farmers Insurance, Robinhood, Charles Schwab, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, Nova Scotia Bank. And I'm wondering, will these layoffs be before or after the end of year bonuses where everybody scrapes as much as they can from the company and bails off? Eagles jumping from a hot air balloon. And something that I hadn't run across before. 7 different indicators that are showing you or forecasting out the model here. And over the past 50 years, it seems to have good results. I haven't seen this model before, so I thought I'd bring it to your attention here. It's the Employment-Based Recession Composite, the EBRC. Now what they do is they scrunch all these data points together for you. New claims for unemployment, so obviously there's more people unemployed. It's going to create a greater rift in the economy. Continuing claims for unemployment. Employed part-time, which means you have 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. Unemployed more than 15 weeks. And then remember, you fall off the books at some point, you don't get counted anymore, but that's not in this metric. Temporary help services, like, coming into Christmas season, you get hired for a month, 2 months. Aggregate hours worked. If that decreases and you're getting a 30-hour work week versus a 40-hour work week, and then the unemployment rate above the 12-month average, and they squeeze it all together, and what do we see? Lo and behold, 2023. Now, looking at the chart, what I don't see is that ascending arm with 2 of those very thick blue lines that are overlapping indicators for several weeks in a row. Maybe 2001, you'll see those 2 jumps, but there's nothing with a double arm heading up. So we are into a different set of circumstance, but I mean, you could look at all these and say they're different sets of circumstances as well. It's just the depth and breadth of this. How deep will it go? Nobody knows, but the Bank for International Settlements, William White, former chief economist, says it will become obvious in the next recession that many of these U.S. debts will never be serviced, repaid ever. That's with an AH. And this will be uncomfortable for a lot of people who think they own assets that are worth something, which will whoosh, evaporate and be worth nothing. But weren't we told that you would own nothing and be happy? BIS forecasting it too, right along with Schwab. So where does that leave our world then? How can you protect yourself is more the answer that we should all be looking for, including myself. Yeah, growing your own food is great. What if you don't have your own land? Could you team up with some of your neighbors that do have land? I mean, what could you save away for a rainy day that could be traded later, that could be worth something? I mean, how do you keep your house? I was talking to somebody with the Canadian rollover. Like every 5 years you're forced to roll over and refinance. But a huge amount of Canadian homes were bought in 2019. So when they refinance now at the end of this year into all of next year, a huge amount of property and real estate in Canada will be needing to refinance. But, when they financed in at 1.2% or 2%, and now they're up around 6%, and their home payments are 3 times more than they were previously, people are going to have to sell. So how are you even going to be able to hold on to your home during this time? I mean, a massive financial collapse, banks close, can you even pay your mortgage? Will they switch to a CBDC? You walk in with cash and like, no, we only take CBDC. And you're like, wait, well, the terms of the contract were I'm paying with this money here, but you switched it out into a new type of money. So what about contract law? Do you know any contract law? I'm learning. These are all things I'm trying to figure out. There's no set solution for this. I mean, the best we could do is look in the 1930s and see, will there be gold confiscation again, silver confiscation? You know, you think I got a stack of whatever to hold through the wealth here, transfer. Government comes in and swoops it and says, you're a hoarder, you need to give up all your gold and silver. If you don't, it's illegal, and then where are you going to sell it? Black market, trade it, something like this, perhaps. Maybe you can leave an answer in the comment box below, and then we all can, add, what do you think we could? Just put your comment below, and then, at eventually 10, 20, 30 of these comments, we can sandwich something together here, come up with a better solution for all of us. And speaking of that, I'm going very much uncensored with in-depth analysis on Patreon and Subscribestar, things I cannot talk about here on YouTube. The reach is becoming more and more limited, and the things we can talk about is also constricting by the minute. So join me over there. I also put out slide decks with the slides that I include in the videos, so you can get both. And I'm always figuring out how to tweak content. Right now it's videos and slide decks, but how will it move in the future? More images? Who knows? Patreon and Subscribestar /adapt2030. Bringing us right into languages or geographic origins, place names on Mercury, Venus, Moon, and Mars. So whoever saw it first gets to name it. And diving into, it looks like there's a lot of Latin in there. I do see some Siberia. I see some Babylonia in there, and Venus, Syria as well. Over to Mercury, got Japan and India tossing in there, Netherlands too on the blue dots. But look on the moon, almost all of that is Latin or Mongolian. Super interesting. You look over time and you can almost see who had the best technology of the time. To be able to view these bodies in space and actually pick out that little feature and then name it, and then get that into what was then registry database. All controlled by the Church of the Kings, and names will live in history. Copernicus. Speaking of living in history, this used to be a fully inhabited, fully active city at the top of this geologic anomaly. Where did they go is the question. You look at Machu Picchu hidden back in the mountains. You look here and say, how did they even get up there? Climbing ladders, defensible, but not from the sun. So knowing how we're in cycles and our society can move, morph, be destroyed, and rebuilt, or history rewritten, let's look at 1906 and the same street here, 2015. Whoa, where did everything go? It's been like this time again in every single city. Where's all the good stuff gone? Oh wait, there might have been residence field with that, especially being gold-plated. Perhaps the ancients or somebody even in our more modern time, 400 years ago, 800 years ago, understood architectural vibration and frequency harnessing. But that's a lost chapter of history. I do thank you for staying with me here. Also, over on Rumble, please join me over there, where I'm reposting some of these same videos. But remember, every Thursday night, this is where we stream live our radio program, Ransom Godwin and myself, Thursday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight, Revolution Radio, uncensored, straight from Rumble. Hope you can join us there. Also sub and subscribe right here. Thank you for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.